I've always been obsessed with the past. As a student of international trade, I look for things people leave behind. Last month, in a dusty alleyway in Berlin, I found an old 1950s bellows camera. The merchant, a man with hands like bird claws, sold it to me for €10. "Be careful what you frame," he whispered. I laughed, thinking it was just a sales pitch. I was wrong. When I got back to my apartment, I cleaned the obsidian lens. It didn't reflect light. It seemed to drink it. I stood in front of my hallway mirror, framed my reflection, and pressed the shutter. Click. The sound wasn't a mechanical snap. It was a wet, heavy thud, like a boot stepping into deep mud. A biting chill ran down my spine. A small slot at the bottom ejected a thick, black piece of cardstock. I watched the image emerge. It wasn't me. It was my body, but where my face should have been, there was only a blurry, gray smudge. My features were smeared across the paper as if someone had wiped them away while the ink was still wet. I looked into the mirror, and my blood turned to ice. My reflection didn't move. It stayed there, staring at the camera I was no longer holding, with eyes wide with an ancient hunger. That night, the first change happened. I saw a small, pale line running across my forehead. It wasn't a wrinkle. It was a seam, like the edge of a mask that hadn't been glued down. I touched it, but I couldn't feel my fingers. A numbing coldness was spreading across my face. Desperate, I took another photo. Thud. This time, the image was terrifyingly clear. In the photo, my face was perfect, but it was floating 6 inches away from my head. And in the background, standing in the shadows of my own kitchen, was a figure. It was tall and possibly thin, holding a pair of long silver scissors. I spun around, but the kitchen was empty. Only the smell of ozone and old silver remained. I went back to the mirror. The seam on my forehead had opened by a millimeter, and from the darkness behind my skin, a single, golden eye that was not mine looked back at me with a terrifying intelligence. I tried to scream, but my lips felt like cooling wax. The harvest had begun.